And so, the Trump transition team themselves are saying, this is not really a pro-labor thing. Just trust us, business people.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
So Trump's labor secretary, that's this is an interesting story because, even I have been, I've always maintained like a critical and skeptical optimism about Trump's labor secretary pick. I hadn't looked into it too closely, but, this person,
on the surface, it seemed like you could do worse.
Yes, you could certainly do worse, even going under the surface. But Chavez-Deremer was the only Republican, one of the only Republicans to endorse the PRO Act. She also endorsed the Public Service Freedom to Negotiate Act, and so there were reasons to be hopeful. The Teamsters endorsed this pick, and it's received praise from other union leaders as well. And the American Prospect points out that she was also the only Republican on the House Committee on Education and the Workforce who opposed a proposal to reduce the National Labor Relations Board authority over disputes between employers and unions. She also co-sponsored a bill that would allow workers to receive tax deductions when paying membership dues to their unions. And so, reasons to be like cautiously optimistic, right? Well, Hassan Kanu for the American Prospect has deflated my optimism a bit. He has an article titled "Labor Nominee Chavez-Deremer More Trump Loyalist Than Union Ally," and so you can imagine where this is going. And he highlights some of the places where she has fallen short of her support for labor while in Congress. In one case, Republicans on the House Labor Subcommittee scheduled 6 meetings that devolved into union bashing, and Chavez-Deremer did not even attend, much less publicly support labor during these fights, so that's concerning. Additionally, according to the AFL-CIO's congressional ratings, Chavez-Deremer voted for policies that favor workers only 10% of the time, which is only slightly higher than the 6% score for the average House Republican. She voted in favor of a bill that would undermine the unemployment insurance program, for example, including by penalizing recipients for inadvertent errors, and for legislation that would loosen regulation of health benefits and allow employers to offer plans that are not backed by adequate reserves. Chavez-Deremer also voted against one of the biggest labor priorities of the past decade, a joint employer rule to restrict companies' ability to effectively outsource certain legal pay and benefit obligations to third parties like contractors and franchisees. And now this one is particularly interesting because that is one of the biggest priorities, not only for labor, but for the Teamsters specifically, right, who have gone to the mat for Chavez-Deremer, and for the Teamsters specifically because of how important this joint employer standard will be to the organization of Amazon as a company. The Teamsters are really leaning on this joint employer standard by the NLRB to organize the company. And so Chavez-Deremer has voted against that in the past, and if that gets overturned, then that's going to make it that much more difficult because, as we know, Amazon, whenever you see an Amazon delivery driver, they technically, in some ways, they don't work, quote unquote, for Amazon, even though they drive Amazon trucks, they have Amazon uniforms, but they don't work for Amazon. They are contractors that have a contract with Amazon to deliver.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
And so, that it obviously makes it difficult to unionize, because if you unionize one of these contractors, then Amazon can just cut that contract and get a new contractor that is non-union, and you have to start the thing all over again. So this joint employer standard is really important for the organization of Amazon as a company, and Chavez-Deremer has not supported it in the past. In addition, her co-sponsorship of the PRO Act didn't actually happen until July. like recently, like a few months ago. And that was 4 months after the other two Republican co-sponsors signed on. And that happened when it was already clear that the bill, which has been a legislative priority for labor since 2019, would not become law. Again, this according to the American Prospect. Michael Ingrayo, a political consultant who advised Chavez-Deremer on labor policy, said that, quote, the bill will never be enacted just days after her endorsement, according to a report by the Northwest Labor Press. Trevor Griffey, a labor historian at the UCLA Institute for Research on Labor and Employment, said on X shortly after her nomination that Chavez-Deremer's late endorsement of the PRO Act should be more accurately viewed as posturing in a swing district to win the support of labor. The labor press also reported that Chavez-Deremer had declined to support the proposal less than a year earlier, and she has also voted in the past against a Biden administration effort to revive the bill. Previously, Chavez-Deremer also explained that when she was not backing the bill, that she hadn't backed the bill yet because she had reservations about it being, quote, anti-small business or anti-franchise agreements. That was an apparent reference to provisions that would make big corporations like McDonald's joint employers alongside their franchise owner, and therefore just as legally liable for labor law violations as the franchisees. So lots of reasons to be skeptical here of Chavez-Deremer, and I wanted to put that out there specifically because I, in the past, have been cautiously optimistic. And, continue to be cautiously optimistic as far as these things go. She's better than somebody who didn't endorse the PRO Act, for example, but more reason for concern now than I was previously aware of. But even without this added cause for concern, it's important to understand that she is going to be a part of what is shaping up to be the most wealthy administration in the country's history, coming in only ahead of the previous Trump administration, which was the most wealthy administration in history, filled with bosses, union busters, politicians, things like that. So even if she was a genuinely pro-labor person, she will be significantly constrained by the administration that she is a part of. And the transition team has been going around and telling business groups like, don't worry. You'll be fine once you see who we appoint to deputy labor secretary and who we appoint to the NLRB. And so, the Trump transition team themselves are saying, this is not really a pro-labor thing. Just trust us, business people. So some concerning signs there. Better than, like I said, better than somebody who didn't endorse the PRO Act, but we need to be clear-eyed about what this is. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.